no. They are excited to do this movie.
All right. Okay. It's a step forward.
Okay, we're talking about The Matrix 4. All right, and I will preface this by I'm going to try to be the words of optimism and say positive things about this because these niggas got all the negativity. They got it. They got plenty of it, so I don't need to add on to it.
I guess spoiler alert. Then
I got some.
No, you don't.
Hey, I want to bet though. How about that? That's all the positivity I need. I want to bet.
Yeah, he won the bet, and that's another thing too, man. I gotta show some episodes of Bleach to y'all. This was written by somebody, written and drawn by somebody. Anyways, I'm getting off track, I guess. Just like this movie did every chance it get.
I don't know who's gonna edit this after this, but I need y'all to get the scene from when I said when we watched the trailer, like, yeah, this is gonna be bad.
It'll be a 6 at best.
This is recorded.
If it's bad, Charlie, you got to get on the string with me playing some Destiny. That's the.
Yeah, I'm down. It's gonna be a long ass night, but I'm down. Say less. Yeah, a long night.
All right. And for me, if it's bad, I'm trying to think of something that Bleach. Okay, so I'm not a fan of Bleach.
Really?
No, I
don't know how that works.
I never knew.
I tried. I watched like the first 20-some episodes. I'm like, this is.
Yeah, it doesn't pick up until about episode 25.
Yeah, you didn't get to the Bronco arc at all.
I'm sorry.
He doesn't even know what the Broncos are.
So for me, if this movie is bad, like terrible bad, I'll do a review of Bleach. I'll watch some more episodes of Bleach and do a review of that thing.
Like, yeah, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be bad. I need that to play.
I'll put it in there, damn it. I'll put it in there, you greedy bastard.
Getting into
I gotta bring some of the energy that we brought to the Arcane video to this one. Whenever y'all wanna rate it first? Y'all wanna rate it first?
Let's rate this shit. I said movie. I said movie.
Because it's gonna be a whole shit fest for y'all. So let's get the rating out the way. For me, I will say this movie was an experience, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it a 6. I'll give it a 6. It was very hold on. Let me say this. I had some enjoyable moments. There were moments I enjoyed. Whenever Yahya was on screen, I enjoy Yahya. Abdul Mateen,
his name is Dorpheus. His name is Dorpheus.
I'm gonna be respectful because if I meet that nigga in the streets one day, that nigga swole as fuck. I'm
gonna call him Dorpheus to his face while I'm running.
Well, you're 6'4".
He'll probably call you Dorpheus and stuff like, yeah, I know. I need the money. I had car payments that month.
That nigga. Then obviously everybody loves Keanu Reeves. I think Keanu Reeves did what he could.
I don't love him after this.
I think he did what he could with this. I think this is.
All I'm saying is this and Cyberpunk to drop in the same year.
How
much did he have to do with Cyberpunk though, bro?
He was there.
The story was good.
He was the best part of Cyberpunk. He actually. I will say this much. He definitely showed up more for Cyberpunk than he did for this.
Yeah, bro. I don't even.
And this is live action.
Live action's been generous, but Charlie, you were giving your rating.
Yeah, it's a 6 for me. I give it a 6. It's
6.
It's bad, but I watched the whole thing and I did it was a struggle to watch, but I did enjoy the watch.
Fair.
So I'll give it a 6.
Okay, we'll go ahead and kill his mic.
It's a failing grade.
I'm not that saucy. I'm not that on the Scoville level on the hot ones. I'm not the final dab. There are some things that are so bad they're funny or dumb in this movie. So like the Merovingian scene, I was like, good God. The thing is, there's no reality in which several people didn't see this movie, the earlier cuts or whatnot, or even the final cuts, and say, yo, let's not Jar Jar Binks this shit in half. So I'm gonna be generous because like Dev, I'll give it a solid 4. 3.5. Yeah.
I'll give this 3 blue pills.
Oh God.
Yeah.
2 red ones and a purple. I guess, like, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, if I'm putting it a regular number, this is a 3. This is a 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I'm gonna let Charlie say the positive stuff. I'm not gonna lay it all on at once, but I got a lot to say here.
I will preface this discussion by saying, for anybody that may have issues with our critique for if you like the movie or not, any critique we have of this movie, does not have to do with any of the whole the being woke and being leftist.
Oh, that's not,
because that was the whole thing. People were like, "Oh, there's a black guy in the trailer," or "There's a girl with blue hair." I'm like, that shit does not matter. That shit has nothing to do with the plot. Like the people, how they look. If it could have been
the girl with blue hair. You mean ad number 1? That's ad number 1. But yeah, go ahead.
But because that's Jessica Henwick. By the way, Jessica Henwick again. The single best thing in a project that wasn't that great. She was an Iron Fist. Remember that shit? She was by far the best thing in that.
Loved her.
Who was she?
Colleen Wing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was her.
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize her. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's her. And then she was the best. In my opinion, she was the best thing about this movie too. So if anyone's trying to throw some shade about that, that our critique has nothing to do with nonsense woke culture, whatever. The news people were arguing about it being really leftist and being really woke, which we're going to do Don't Look Up soon, so y'all have fun with that one. It's anything we say about this movie is purely from one, it's purely opinionated, so do not lose your shit over us saying it's a bad movie. If you enjoy the movie, you enjoyed it. Like again, I enjoyed it a little bit more than these guys because I didn't go into it with high expectations or
I knew it was gonna be shit. And it lived up to my expectations.
Hey, it lived up to his
expectations. I mean, I lost a bet. I'm watching Bleach, man. Every second of that, I'm like, fuck all this East. So
he's bitter. So we'll get into it. We'll let Otis start it off. I'll treat this nigga like Beyblade and let him rip. Go ahead, bro.
So I had a lot of issues with this that I also had with that most recent Space Jam movie. This movie was a walking fucking ad. Like in the beginning of the movie, you have Neo acting as a person who made the Matrix game while they just so happen to have a Matrix game coming out in a couple months. Like, this is an ad. They say, oh, this is owned by Warner Brothers. Guess who owns it? Fucking Warner Brothers. They have the blue-haired girl, right? Bugs. Her name is Bugs for Bugs Bunny. She has a fucking rabbit on her arm. Like it looked like somebody stenciled that on right before they started filming. First of all, like what the fuck was that? This was a movie that had so much hype from the first ones that you didn't really have to go super deep into the story, and they didn't. Like clearly they didn't. But to turn this into a walking ad for both Warner Brothers and your new game, like that's just kind of cheap. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. You got some explaining to do, Warner Brothers. Like, what the fuck?
They did.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off.
Number one done. Right, number 1 done.
Yeah, I mean, well,
take a water break. Take a breather.
It is very much super duper meta, and it's like the movie's having fun with itself and the properties by how much. The first 45 minutes, it's been documented several times how it's very much like the movie commenting on itself and its past, and then commenting wildly in the face of all the people who've seen it in the past, as far as whether you're a fan, whether you're a critic, whether you're Warner Brothers, it's commenting on it so much that it's like, God damn, even Deadpool was like, okay, y'all need to chill with some of this stuff. So that was alarming. It was like at first like, okay, this is kind of cool, it's kind of funny. And then once it gets to minute literally 45, you're like, God, I can't, no more.
There's literally a 20-minute rant. What is the Matrix? While you're watching the fucking Matrix. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Inside baseball. I can't do that. It's just too much.
I will say, I'll try to get some negative points out so I'm not just 100% positive. It felt like a parody.
Yes.
A lot of moments.
Yes. Nose touch.
That whole unnecessarily long scene in which they're developing the next game. Like you said, they're asking what it is and what people like about it. And it's like a whole sequence of events to where you're cutting back to him taking a blue pill, walking through a daily life, and then going to this meeting in which there are people like, oh, they like guns, or they like the philosophy. I'm like, what is this building towards? Is us seeing his daily life supposed to show us something about Neo as a character, or the Matrix itself, or is this whole thing like? In my mind, I thought it was gonna break. I thought it was gonna show him like slowly coming out of the Matrix, showing that repetition because he analyzed it, but no, he's just in it still. He's just there. He never questions it. Well, he questions it one time, but he easily gets snapped back into it. And you just have this long sequence for no reason. I'm like, what was the point of this? Like, there's a lot of points of this movie where they have scenes and sequences that are there for set pieces that aren't good set pieces, but they're unnecessary. There's no point. Like, this didn't move the story forward any. This didn't develop any characters or concepts for it any. I mean, it was just there to look pretty because they paid for it.
It felt like we were being attacked. I never felt like I was being attacked by a movie for liking a movie. The Matrix 1 was great. It was lots of fun, and there were it spawned a whole culture around it. And it seemed like this movie was actually attacking us for our thoughts on that first film.
It exploited our fanship of Matrix. Like, that is exactly what this is. Like, they like, oh, you like things about Matrix? We're gonna show a film clip of them. It's like, show you our actual version that pales in comparison to a movie that came out 22 years ago. How does that even fucking work?
As Otis just said, the movie came out 22 years before, and pales in comparison. I was thinking about the action set pieces. There wasn't any moment. I know you can't. The movie commented over and over again about bullet time, and essentially the idea is you can't recreate bullet time. I get that, but there really wasn't anything or big set pieces or action scenes that I was like, oh, this is better or at least different enough from the original. It's like they're kind of like they're half-ass treading over the same ground and aren't able to do it as well as they did 22 years ago. How is that possible? 22 years ago?
How do you make the fight between Neo and Mr. Smith look worse? How do you do
less
that?
Impactful.
That's my number one biggest thing that I'm disappointed is with this movie. I didn't expect a lot with the plot. I didn't care a lot with the plot. I expected to see good ass fight choreography, and it was mid. It was, I wouldn't say it was bad, but it was mid as hell. Like, it was to the quality of like a low budget indie film, which is not bad because I'm like, you did what you could and it made sense. But for a movie where you're known for your groundbreaking fight scenes that copy something or that mirror something like Crouching Tiger,
right? I'm
like, you were known for this. Why are you not doing it to the quality that you did it? Like you guys said, 22 years ago.
Yeah, and I haven't looked at the budget. We'll look up the budget here, but I mean, I can't imagine this had less of a budget than the first one.
$200 million looks like.
That's a lot of money for one movie. One movie, the entire the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, which was 9 hours theatrically, cost less than $300. This one movie that was 2.5 hours.
Like, they spent $200 million on that. Like, that. Yeah. You could have did that for $5 on an iPhone.
I'm like, what did you spend that money on? Because there wasn't a lot of CGI.
For Morpheus budget, they spent like.
Them suits, hey, I ain't gonna lie. My boy Yakya had the fire suits on. That man's suit. That man's suit was clean.
I'm not gonna argue.
Until he was just a bunch of marbles put together.
Yeah, that was.
So we gotta get into that. So
I will say
the characters. We gotta get into the characters.
The characters. Well, let me get into the story a little bit. I do enjoy the one good thing I would say they built on the story into building into the off of what they did before, and as far as making some of the AI from the Matrix cross over into the world. I thought that was a neat way to progress and show. Because they spoke about there being a treaty or some kind of like peace between the actual people and the robots, and them having some way to interact with each other. I thought was a neat. It was an interesting way to do it. I felt like it felt like natural. Like that felt like a natural progression within the Matrix universe and the story.
Right. Get it?
That's it though. To me, it did.
On paper, yeah.
It took them 60 years with sentient AIs to make fruit, bro. They made fruit.
The niggas don't have sunlight. What do? They don't have sun.
No, I see what you're saying.
You gotta imitate sunlight.
After 60 years, there'd be so much more innovations or advancements. Like we've all seen Korra here. In Legend of Korra, once there's no longer a massive war plaguing the people, you see the advancements with the Air Kingdom. You see the advancements with the actual where people are bending metal, actually building cities fast, quick, and things happen. For this to be 60 years with extreme technology, with actual, this is like sentient AI, and they have fruit.
All do you know what 60 years ago from today was?
Right.
Jim Crow.
Look, I will say this: the things about modern day and in core is these people have natural resources in a universe where you have no sunlight because the sun's blocked out by the pollution from the war. You have damn near no great levels of oxygen. We will talk to Stan about it, but when you play, have you guys ever planted something? How sensitive, like crops are to the nutrients they need. There's no soil, there's no natural soil, there's no natural sunlight. There's probably not a lot of clean water, and you have to grow plants. How do you grow a plant? So that's why I'm like, I'm not mad. I'm surprised it only took 60 years for you to grow synthetic fruit when there's nothing natural or any natural resources to grow this fruit.
But it's not just the idea of the fruit. I mean, okay, I'll give you that, the fruit and the food, of course, that makes sense. Okay. But it's like, why is 95-year-old Jada Pinkett Smith running around in her weird makeup in rags still? Like, why have they in buildings? Y'all are still in like alcoves. Make some buildings. You literally have machines working right beside you.
Spaceships. They have spaceships.
Crafts.
Already.
What are you doing?
What
are you doing with this technology, friends? You live in a rock under another rock,
bro.
Because you can argue. You have a good argument on either side of that, of where how fast you think a society should progress without natural resources. Because you gotta have cotton to make clothes.
But you do it. I mean, I like how in 2 minutes we brought up Jim Crow and cotton. It's like
Please don't cancel us. Please don't cancel us.
I do like the idea of what the treaty established by Neo is that the machines and the humans, or in Zion, are living together in peace. The problem with that is like, where is the actual conflict? Like, why is it? So essentially, there's Neil Patrick Harris. Neil Patrick Harris is the bad guy. Yes. He's basically the Riddler in this movie.
He's this generation's Charlie Sheen. Like, where you're just kind of like there, like people know you.
Like that's a different level of insult. Like,
I don't know about that.
That's like, I'm like, what does he do outside of like doing some like mediocre? Like, I think he had one decent show and like some mediocre. Like, what does he do?
Right. It's a. I do want to put. I want to put that on a
MD.
Yeah, he was. I want to put that online. That MPH is this generation's Charlie Sheen, to just see what the reaction it gets. Like,
just put it out from a ghost account.
Put it on Twitter
and run away. Yeah.
Just drop that grenade and run. Pull the pin and go.
He was entertaining. Neil Patrick Harris was entertaining as hell. But I was curious. It's like, so what is the conflict here? Because we've established there's supposedly a treaty or a peace, and it seems that these crops are thriving. So I guess the real actual objective is to get in there and wake up Neo and then wake up Trinity. But why is it that Bugs is determined to wake up Neo if things are peaceful in Zion? They don't need, and they're waking people. Like, that's what I'm saying. Is the plot doesn't quite add up. There is no
fucking sense. It's like, you're living in peace next to the machines.
Right.
So let's go piss the machines off, right?
Let's
fight
them.
The way I'm imagining it, I thought the reason for them being there was to continue to try to wake people up out of the Matrix, and she happened to see him in the Matrix, and for whatever reason, her seeing him like made her have a realization after seeing this man try to kill himself. I don't know how that happens, or if it's just one shit, or.
So Neo had this thing they call the modules, where he was like kind of essentially having where he was setting these things out so that people could find him. It took like 60 some odd years or however long for them to find him, but it's kind of like, why were they even trying to find him? like essentially if
we at peace.
Like, what do you need the one for anymore?
What do you need him for anymore?
Like, that's the thing that pissed me off the most. I'm sorry to go on this tangent, but I got to do this. It's not even the one anymore. It's the fucking two. It's two of them.
The two.
Why?
It's non-binary, I guess, because it's two of them. Right.
A video I saw tried to make sense of it.
It tried.
And I thought it made somewhat of a resemblance. When you look at computer code, they're all based off of ones and zeros.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I thought they explained it was the one was the one in the computer code and like the controlling of code in general.
Mm-hmm.
But for you have like supreme control over coding and computer, you need the one and the zero. So they tried to make that a thing. I'm like, but even then, you didn't fully explain what made the one the one. So how is the one now losing power and giving his power to somebody else, but then getting it back somehow? And then flying around, and I'm just like, I don't get it all the way. For whatever reason, them two being together made them stronger in the Matrix. Which I'm like, what about those two? Because up until this point, they've only had sex. I'm like, what is it about you having sex and falling in love make you stronger together to break the Matrix? And not just break it, but to make them explosions.
The entire
touch. I'm like, I'm not saying it's like don't do that, but explain why.
Right.
I need to know why this
you can do whatever you want. Just tell me why.
Like they were strong enough to overcome the reverse bullet time that the analyst had. Like, what does that even like? How does
he have control over him when you're the one? Nigga, you're supposed to be able to break the Matrix, but the Matrix now can slow you down?
I don't but he for whatever reason, they were trying to, I guess, make enough crops, enough people, enough human batteries to sustain the Matrix, okay? And as he said, the crops kept failing. I don't know why exactly, but they kept failing unless they had enough power source like Trinity and Neo. So he took their cadavers, I'm saying cadavers, and reassembled them with space-age technology that's used to grow fruit. And with those bodies, he put them near each other, not so close that they would explode, but close enough that they know that they were near each other. And then for 60 plus years, those two were close enough to each other to pretty much breed and keep and to sustain the Matrix.
Why the fuck were they exploding? Why did they explode?
If they're too close, they'd explode.
Why were they exploding in the second or third movie after they had sex already? I don't get it. What changed from the second movie to the third movie?
No, I got it. Like, you gotta, you have to jump outside the Matrix to understand this, right? You gotta go to Naruto. Once Trinity got hit with the Jiraiya treatment with all those spikes in her back, it unlocked her chakras. But in the Matrix. And then Neo went Sage mode.
Right.
Then he gave it to her and then got it back though. Like it was a boomerang sage. It was a boomerang
sage / super COVID Unicron that gave them both mega power. Okay.
They took a purple pill. They took the blue pill, mixed it with the red pill. Put it in a Sprite, and then they threw it back.
They Cosby themselves. They got Cosby'd until they became gods. Oh. Here's the thing. That makes as much sense as what we saw on the screen because there's no Dev. I know you have a nice full beard. Your beard is full, but you cannot tell me how or why or what Morpheus. Like there's literally a line when Morpheus, aka Yahya, says, "I am Morpheus." It's like, okay, we just established. Okay, he just is.
We can tell, nigga.
Why was he a different person? Why is he a different person?
Well, that makes sense because he like made a version of him that wasn't the actual Morpheus. That Morpheus isn't Morpheus. It's like a computer generated version of Morpheus that Neo created to get him out of there. Okay, so that makes
now when did Neo create this? Because this is the ball bearings creature.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. When did you do this in between you?
It was sometime in those 60 years of him being dead.
Sometimes when he was so his from beyond the grave, like Freddy Krueger on some kids, he managed to create a ball bearings version of Yahya. Now, why is it that he doesn't look like the original Morpheus?
See, my thing is, it makes it. I wouldn't even complain about him not looking like this nigga. But why did you put him in the most magnificent suits known to man, and not in a black trench coat like you saw Morpheus? When was Morpheus ever in a
never put on a single trench coat, bro?
Yeah.
Oh god!
All right, so this is back to real life now. That's not in the Matrix. It's not. This is real life.
Preach.
They sent the script to Lawrence Fishburne. He was like, "What the fuck is this?" so they said, "Oh, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it, Lawrence. Now we're gonna spend all that money that we're gonna spend on you on his wardrobe. Fuck you thought." But then they spent too much and then didn't have enough money to give Bugs a real tattoo.
So
They put that nigga on that remix. What the fuck is that?
The Bugs theory.
What the fuck is that?
It's circular. But why was it? Think about this. From the moment that Yahya said, I am Morpheus," he pretty much, his character became like more and more and more less important. Like he had one scene where he went to the bathroom. And
I think literally was like, "Damn, I'm smooth as fuck, boy." Like he had like
one scene in the bathroom where he didn't wash his hands. Thank you. Talking to Neo about whatever was in a yellow suit, and then he walked out shooting a couple of things. And then from then on out, he was just a ball bearings man that popped up occasionally. Didn't have hardly any lines. There's that big, huge group fuck scene where they have like that orgy fight where Morpheus is kind of doing a punch here or there, but it's like, this is what happened. What did y'all do to Morpheus? Is it because Lawrence Fishburne turned him down? They said, "Okay, we're gonna fuck you over bad." I mean, you saw the movie.
They tried to basically this movie was just a whole bunch of like, "Hey, here's some new shit that's supposed to be philosophical. But hey, remember this old shit that you like? Remember that? It's still here. They don't go anywhere. It's still here. We'll bring it back. We promise. It's still here. Here's a literal snippet, like a literal 2-minute snippet of a movie from 20 years ago. Don't go anywhere. You'll find some new shit. I swear, we got this. We got the shit you like."
I know that the Wachowskis lost their mother, and that Lana was dealing with the grief of that, and that's partly what spurred her on to make this movie. So I'll give her that. It's like, okay, grief can do a whole bunch of things to you. Like, it can mess you up, and that's fair. But working through your pain, I don't know if that's the best time to make something like this.
That's when you get some of the best art known to man, and music and artistry is when you're going through grief.
Yes, usually
you can. Heartbreak.
Yes, but the thing about it was the Matrix had nothing. It was a very different kind of. It wasn't a person dealing with grief or tragedy. This is mainly a love story, like you said before, Dev. This is mainly. It's
like that's weird. Like on top of all of this, they still made this like a Romeo and Juliet story.
These
like, how does
that
even work?
Literally flying off into the sunset, doing twists.
They literally fly off into the sunset,
barrel rolls and shit in the air.
Yeah, like star fucks on cocaine. And that's what I was like, I don't know about that. So, for example, in Final Fantasy VII, the creator of Final Fantasy, or the maker or director of Final Fantasy VII, he lost his mother right before that game came out while I was making that game. So that's why when Aerith or Ares dies, spoiler alert, she can't come back. It's the idea of when loss happens, it has to matter. It's analogous to his own life. This is a love story where they defeat Neil Patrick Harris. So I'm not sure how the grief ties into that. What's the central theme of what she was going through? Maybe there's more, of course, I don't know about, but it just seems like a weird project to tackle while you're dealing with grief.
I'm not mad at the love story. I'm just mad at how far it strays away from the original point of the Matrix.
I agree.
The original point going into free will and what is and what isn't free will, and individuals being like, you have all these philosophical points, and then you just change that into a love, which I think they did an issue with that in the third movie too, where it kind of went away from that and kind of turned into like a war. But you go even further from that and just making this shit just a love. Like, you gave me the illusion that it's going to be philosophical in the scenes like the one we talked about before, in which they're saying what the Matrix is and he's seen all the blue pills and shit. You give me the illusion that you're going to do what they did in the first one, but then just make it a love story. I'm just like, I'm not mad, but why? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué?
Yeah.
¿Por qué?
And I'm not mad. I'm confused.
They were confused writing this, filming this, editing this.
A portion of that could be the grief.
I guarantee you that word. I guarantee you, like, I don't know what to do.
This is one of those like misery loves company. I'm hurt because my mom is gone, so I'm gonna make you feel as hurt by taking away something.
God,
what if that was it?
damn.
I mean, sure, it's dark as hell, but I mean, we can't prove that's not true.
Hey, cut that shit out, bro.
If I'm leaving Jim Crow in here and Cotton,
Hey.
I'm not cutting that part out either. What's the point?
God damn. Oh my God. Hey, that's all this nigga to the left of me. That's that nigga right here.
The other side.
The other side. That's that nigga. Hey. Yeah, good things. I will say Yak in them suits again. Them shits were splendiferous. Them shits were splendiferous, my nigga. Them suits were immaculate.
Very good. Now we can see your face. Okay.
Those, like, again, let me stop harping on the suits. Good plot point. Never mind, those aren't exist either. The jokes?
The jokes?
The yokes and the uses were there. The yokes were nice.
What were the jokes in this movie?
Minute 1 to minute 2 hours and 30.
Yeah.
Trinity being hot.
Wow. Now we're throwing shade. You said Trinity being hot. Damn. God
I'm not saying that she's not. I'm saying that was really a joke where a dude was like, yeah, she's a MILF. He literally like, she's a MILF. I'm like, nigga, why you? I've been around dudes. I'm like, why are you talking about a woman like that? My nigga, like, she's right there, bro. I guess you're talking like about a celebrity, maybe, but in that universe, she's a random, like, dude, you're a random nigga. Why are you calling her a MILF? And the way he said, I was like, ugh. I felt dirty hearing that.
It was dirty.
I was like, this nigga talked about a woman like she's a porn category. Nigga, like, I don't want to.
I mean, that is a porn category.
You see my search history. But they had it where.
No, I haven't.
No, you don't need
no, I haven't.
What do you mean by that? You know what I meant by that? You know what I meant by that? I'm amazed at how well Carrie-Ann Moss and Keanu Reeves did look. I mean, they are in their late 50s.
Vampires.
They are in their mid to late 50s, and I am 40, and my knees just say nope on a daily basis. And they were out there running around doing their stuff. I was like, okay, that's pretty. I'm impressed. So I'll give it that.
Keanu in his 50s.
They're both in the 50s. Yeah, they're both in the 50s.
God damn, them niggas are vampires, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's Keanu Reeves. It's been established he's a vampire. And Carrie-Ann Moss aged really well too. And I love how so I was impressed by that. I mean, they showed up. They
I need to know whatever dietary plan them niggas at Pharrell are on. Whatever they're doing, I need to know what they're doing so I could, bruh. Them and Pharrell don't fucking age at all. A day. Like,
ultra vegan. Yeah.
If that's when I hit 40, I'm going vegan. Fuck it. That'll be good food by then.
Yeah, I doubt that. Now we do need to get back to our buddy. So here's one thing you need to understand too. It wasn't just Lawrence Fishburne that said nope. It was also your boy Hugo Weaving, who's very much alive still, who very much has been in other Wachowski projects. He saw this one and said, "Nah, I'm out." They brought in Jonathan Groff, the dude from Hamilton, to be the new Agent Smith.
Horrible.
I was like, I don't know.
Why?
Agent Smith can have a perfect hairline. I'm sorry. That nigga's line can't be. You can't be 100%.
No, his hairline is
the same way you can't be in a go conversation and have a perfect hairline. You gotta be bald to have that shit receding.
Pretty much.
That's a shot at Steph Curry for Otis. My bad. Continue.
No, all I was gonna say was, like, so y'all saw the movie. Y'all saw. Think about the two big bads in this movie for the most part are Neil Patrick Harris and then Jonathan Groff. Is any part of that intimidating, scary?
Yeah, that's that menacing? Topher Grace as Venom level casting right there.
Ooh.
You know who that nigga felt like? That nigga
Topher Grace as Venom?
No. he felt like fuck, I lost it. That nigga felt like an older version of like Shia LaBeouf from the Transformers movies.
Even Shia LaBeouf is
his euphemisms and the way I'm like, bro, you don't. put fear in me, bro.
No.
Like, Hugo Weaving is
Barney
intimidating.
Stinson. Like
He's
I
Barney
mean,
Stinson.
I'm talking about the Agent
Jonathan,
Smith.
yeah.
oh him. Oh,
I'm
God.
just like, bro, you seem like a
Nothing.
frat boy. Like you don't like. I
Yes.
want to
Definitely
punch
sound
you.
like a frat boy.
I don't
Yeah.
like you, nigga.
Yeah.
And like, they tried to make him like this anti-villain in this one. I'm just like,
Right.
I don't like it. I don't like. I don't like it.
Otis, in the previous review we did about Spider-Man No Way Home, Otis was talking about tension, and you need to actually have, in order for there to be tension, there has to be stakes and loss and things of that nature, right? If you have a villain on a screen where there's nothing, their presence isn't intimidating at all, either with the MPH or Jonathan Groff, there's no like sense of like actual suspense. There's no drama. There's no pathos there because you're like, I'm not afraid. I don't care. If you're being chased around the house by a little hobbit on a broken leg, it's like I'm not afraid. What's the pressure?
Right,
So
right. Question.
Go
ahead. You taking Vicious or New Smith? Which one?
why would you do that?
I mean, I actually finished this movie, so I'm gonna have to go.
Wow.
I mean, it's shorter than the series, so.
Wow.
I finished this movie, so I gotta go with Agent Smith.
I would take the New Smith also because at least he's entertaining. Like that Vicious is fucking.
He was bad. It was pretty bad.
Hey, I'm calling this movie Matrix 4 Motivation of the Coochie. That's pretty much what this nigga Neo the whole time is motivated.
That's literally what he's after. The
City might get like destroyed by these machines if I don't go get this ass.
I think
Guess where I'm going.
Yeah.
Hey, homegirl's like, hey, she's really peaceful right now. She may live a peaceful life and never even notice she's out of the bed. I want the box. Get her out of there.
Yeah, it's like yo, dude. There's all the women out here. What are you doing? So that was the stake. That's actually, let's get into this. That seemed to actually be the stake, right? Was him saving his old girl, and it seemed very clear. Like, yo, if you get her, you could just. There's the two batteries coming together. You could destroy everything. Why is he okay with that? I mean,
I thought he just worked all hard in the 3 movies to like do the opposite and save people.
Right.
I was like, fuck y'all niggas, bro. I want this box. Y'all niggas left me in there.
Yeah. I mean, she's hot. She's cool. She's a MILF, as that dude said. But it's like, God damn, come on.
I'm like,
honestly, if he wanted her so bad, he could have just stayed in the Matrix.
That's what I'm saying too. Stay in the
no,
Matrix.
because homeboy wouldn't have let her.
Right. Because when they get too close, they don't generate as much energy. Right. Yes. He has to torture them to create the most amount of.
How was that torture? Like she's a mom in suburbia, and he's a multi-million-dollar game creator. How that torture?
Also, how is it that they haven't bumped? Because you mentioned that he's a multi-million-dollar game creator. She's a mom in suburbia, and they live right next to each other. They're like right in the same proximity, go in the same coffee shop. How did they not see each other earlier, or are they supposed to see each other? Didn't MPH realize if they saw each other, it would complicate things?
He said they're supposed to see each other. It's supposed to be a thing where you see her, but you can't have her, which is why he had her have a family where they can meet up and talk or whatever. But he can't get with her.
Because dudes in the modern age don't ever.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
families.
Nigga, the way she's at a coffee shop for this nigga. You think they're not about to smash? This shit is a setup for a softcore porn. This shit is a porn setup.
Wow.
No, softcore porn is written better.
I agree. Speaking of Bleach, but no, but yeah, it's.
Hey, you agree? You agree? You said you agree?
I agree that Bleach is poorly written. Yes, Bleach.
Nah, nigga, that's softcore porn.
What do you mean by that?
I think he said that with conviction. He was like,
conviction.
Porn, the plot line. I like it.
When I watch my report, I take notes to make sure that it's got the spell checks on it and everything else.
He goes through Pornhub for the plot.
Yeah, exactly.
86 pages later.
Director. In the 8th minute.
This one here, I like that. I like it. Again, if you guys have any points and if you like this movie, I'm not mad at it. It was entertaining somewhat to watch. Like it was some of the past time. I finished it, so it wasn't so bad to the point to where I couldn't finish this movie.
Sure.
Again, there were entertaining points. Some of the gunplay was cool. I guess it was reminiscent. It's hard to mess up the gunplay. That's my nigga. Hey, I fuck with him, and his suits were smooth. And Keanu and Carrie-Ann Moss were Keanu and Carrie-Ann Moss.
Very cute. And Jessica Helmut. I like Jessica Helmut running through there. I wasn't talking to Otis. I was talking to somebody else about this. In the original, I was talking to Otis about this. In the original trilogy or in the original Matrix movie, they were originally going to have the character switch be trans. And so in one world, in the reality, like the real world, it was going to be a dude, an actual guy. And then when it went to the Matrix, it would be a woman. And it's to show that because the whole idea is you're in the Matrix, you're a projection of what you see yourself as. Right, sure. And that's a very cool concept. And they didn't do it obviously in the 90s because it had been too progressive and got some flack. I was really, really hoping that actually Jessica Helmut's character, the blue-haired character, that's how it would be for her. In
That'd be cool.
Guy. And I thought they were going to do that. And obviously, since the Wachowskis have had their, going through what they've gone through, I thought they were going to do that. And that'd be a really cool idea. And they didn't do that. The one thing I was looking forward to the most with this movie, they found a way not to do it. So it's like, well, god damn.
That's one thing I didn't know that one of the Wachowskis was trans until later on. I'm like, if I would have known that, I'm like, you try to put some of yourself in your art.
Well, sure.
I would have appreciated somewhat of a trans story with that. Like again, like that you said,
fire.
And then you can explain why
story. I would have.
She could be a relevant character because she's like one of the only people to do that. We can think why she can do that. Then maybe that can lead into why, if you really still have to give Trinity powers, that would explain that possibly. It would have made more sense.
You just pitched a much better movie right there. Yeah. In the 5 seconds you spoke right there.
Hey, give me $20 million. Give me $200 million.
$200 million.
I'll make it happen.
Say that number out.
I'll make that shit happen. Yeah. All right, guys. This has been another episode of the Then and Now podcast. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for the continued support. We appreciate you guys so much and for all you do. Again, we have a lot more stuff. Obviously, you guys see with the new overlays, everything you can find us on. The Patreon is coming soon. The Patreon, we have it up now to kind of give you guys an awareness on it. But I think near the end of this month, early next month, we'll try to have it finished, have some dope content coming to you there. So you'll be able to see these episodes on an earlier basis, be more involved with the show, bring you guys on some of the live shows and kind of get you guys involved in stuff. And discounts on merch. We got more merch coming and a bunch of other stuff coming. So
Danny's Dungeon. We have more Danny's Dungeon coming.
Danny's Dungeon coming, and we are revitalizing the segment of Loose Cannons. Bringing that back, and we're kicking it off with my boy James from Small Screen and our good friend Chuck Pinois, comic creator extraordinaire. And we'll get that started up pretty soon. So we have a lot of content coming for you guys.
We also have a big prize fight coming up. Childish Gambino versus JB Fox as far as greatest performer. Otis East versus Charlie Wilson.
We're gonna
never agree to this. Never agree to this.
Too late. Hey. Could have been talking shit.
I didn't. I literally didn't talk shit.
All right,
you said Jim Crow. You literally said Jim Crow.
This nigga talking about somebody's dead mama. I was like, yo. Hey, this has been another episode of the Then and Now podcast.
On that note.
Best podcast this side of the Matrix, this side of the universe. We don't do blue pills around here. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys next time. If you can stay in frame.
They really fucked up the Mr. Anderson. Like, how do you fuck that up? Just play the clip from the first one.